how can we support one another as believers? So, helping each other as believers, the first thing you do is you look at what the person is going through. Now, clearly, if they've told you, then you base it on that, and you try to help them by helping them find the root cause of the issue and getting appropriate help to fix that issue. If there's a root cause, but there's a symptom, there's something else that's there caused by it that's, eh, you know, especially difficult for them at the moment, help them deal with that first, then, and then direct them to the root cause. So that's one thing. Secondly, helping someone or supporting someone is not just about consolation. So you can have a friend who's really angry about something or really hurt, he feels betrayed or angry about something, and yes, to offer comfort and support is good, and you should do that. But if in their heightened emotional state they're going to go and do something that's bad for them, then you say no, don't do this, right? You say don't go down this road, it's not good for you right now. That's what support is. Support, sincere support, is being there for the person and helping them do what's good for them in their deen, in their dunya, and in the akhirah, right? This is, from the hadith that wallahu fi auni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi auni akhihi. Allah is aiding a servant whilst, as long as the servant is aiding his brother. And so this is it. So you're there helping them, and you don't have to go do everything for them, but support is sometimes with words, sometimes with actions. Like someone needs to move house, you go and help them, time permitting. So sometimes support takes on the form of just listening and helping them, you know structure their own thoughts and to deal with an issue. A friend of mine a while ago had this issue come up in his life, and it's something that I've experienced it in the past, and alhamdulillah, I was able to say, okay, do this, and expect to feel like this over the next few days. So it was mentally preparing him, and then when those feelings and those situations did hit, he was ready for them. It obviously hurt and there was pain there, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped him through the process. And so helping someone and navigate something is a type of support. It's not just unconditional, yeah, oh you poor thing, and just stroking them and saying, oh yes, in the world of wrong has just occurred to you. It's not always that, and sometimes that's not. It's directing them to what's good for them. That's support. And and if and it can be difficult if you're close to someone, and then they're suffering, or yeah, you do feel for them. That's obviously is one of those things, but you don't let your emotion for them cloud you from being able to help them and direct them down a path that's good for them. So if you can minimize their difficulty, you do so. Otherwise, listen to them and help them go through what they need to process, and advise them in a way that will be beneficial for them in their deen, their dunya, and their akhirah. Don't advise them to go do something and just go demolish the whole building. That'll teach them nothing like that. And that's the way you support people. Look at the sunnah, how the Prophet would do it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you got your perfect paradigm there. If you don't know what it is, then sometimes people have difficulties and they're not willing to share what the difficulty is. Support in that way would just be spending time with them. Okay, let's go out for a meal, let's go get some tea or some coffee or something, and just sit and talk about the clouds or talk about ants or talk about anything. That's maybe what they want. Okay, well, that's the way around it. And sometimes support for a person means leaving them with the right instruction to do what it is, because you can also be a crutch for them, and a crutch is only useful as long as you need it. But if someone just keeps hold of it, in school, we had this teacher who gave us a brilliant example that when I was young, they used to play. They used to plant trees in the ground, and they hammer in a big wooden stump with the tree, and then the sapling would just be tied to it so it knows to grow upwards. Now, this stump has been hammered deep into the ground, so it provides a lot of stability for the sapling. Great. Until they removed the stump and let the sapling, thrive on its own, and most of them just got blown over. Why? The support of the stump was so strong that the sapling didn't grow its own roots deep enough. So it got knocked over when the winds came. So what they started doing is they started putting a plastic container, right, just around, just a long sheet of plastic. They put it around the sapling. It gets its sunlight, and it's got the structure to grow straight. But there's not a lot of deep support for it in that level, so it helps it grow in and of itself. And when they removed those structures, the roots were solid and they were fine, and the saplings thrived. Sometimes people need to learn how to do things on their own to be able to manage things on their own. So if someone keeps coming back and saying, "Oh, um, what do I do here?" and again, the same thing, you're exacerbating the problem for them. And this is what I do here. And there are people who have a lot of OCD, and when it manifests in fiqh or these sorts of things, it makes life difficult for them. So what do you do? I don't think it's good for them to keep answering the questions. They'll ask a question and then they'll want you to dissect every word that you've used, and it gets at first it gets very stressful for the people having to answer it. Trust me, right? And there's loads of people with fake accounts and multiple accounts and everything, right? But it gets difficult. So, but the biggest issue is it doesn't help the person. It may make momentarily feel better, but it doesn't help them. I have someone who asked me a question. This has been going on since October, right? He asked me a question about a particular thing, OCD related. I clarified it, and then he came back and I clarified it. He came back again, and then after a few times, I said, "I'm not going to answer anymore." Since then, he said, "One more, please. I promise I will never bother you again about this." I answered that. And then what happened? Since then, about 3 or 4 times, he sent me a question. "Please, please, please, I beg you." Then he deletes it. So this is it. Support is what directs them to their benefit, right? And Allah knows best.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله